How powerful is the United States? It might seem like a dumb question. By just looking at the U.S. military, economy, and political influence, you could conclude, as studies by the National Intelligence Council did in 2008 and 2012, that the U.S. is the single most powerful country in the world. They also think that it will remain that way until at least 2025. So instead of focusing on the U.S.'s strengths, we're going to focus on the limitations. Yes, the United States is the most powerful country, but how effectively can they wield that power? The answer is not too effectively. For starters, the U.S. government is largely governed by an elaborate system of checks and balances, which is good for maintaining stability, but bad for wielding power. For example, the president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, but only Congress can declare war on other nations or authorize extended military campaigns like our current war on terror, which is authorized under an act passed by Congress in the wake of the 9/11 attacks. So right now, the president can do what he needs to do to fight Al-Qaeda, but he cannot conduct extended military campaigns against other non-Al-Qaeda affiliated nations without Congress's sign-off. Even if another nation, like, let's say, Russia, were to do something that the president disagreed with, like, let's say, annex Crimea or invade Ukraine, the president's hands would still be tied. Plus, both the president and Congress are in power for limited periods of time and freely elected by the people. If the president or Congress were to vote for or start an unpopular war, it could be difficult for them to stay in office. So at the beginning of any large-scale conflict, elected officials have to be at least somewhat certain that the people will go for it. This is why the majority of the United States' overt military actions are against outside aggressors like Japan in World War II, rogue states like Iraq in Desert Storm, or as a direct result of a terrorist attack on U.S. soil or against U.S. embassies. It would be very difficult for our government to start an overt conflict with a foreign state without one of those contingencies happening first. I say overt conflict, of course, because the U.S. does have a history of using covert operations to overthrow or overly influence other nations, and it is a history spotted with messy failures that act more as a proof of the U.S.'s lack of power than anything else. To hear more about that, check out our video on the current relationship with Iran. Obviously, that is just one approach to the limits of U.S. power. There are many other examples, Russia and China's place on the UN Security Council being chief among them. To find out more about that, click here, and please let us know in the comments any other angles you would like us to point to in the future, or anything else you'd like to know.